and today I would like to work on some start tests. So one thing I like to do is I like to scout out my starts. Sometimes I don't do that because of time crunches, but I like to scout it out and have a general idea of how I want to play the start. And this will also give us a chance to talk about what the theme of the new series will be, which, by the way, will be premiering tomorrow. Obviously, since I'm doing start scouting right now, I know almost nothing about it. So that's great. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here is, you'll notice this is the current version of the game, and we're going to hop into the single player. This is unmodified, and that's our previous Brazil game. Okay, that's from a previous stream there. We're going to do a new game here. We're almost certainly going to start in 1936. I tend to prefer to do that. And we are going to definitely do a custom nation. I'd like to get several starts looked at today. And we can start making any ideas about where we want that to be done soon enough. 1 second here. One of these presets here, I think, not this one. That's kind of okay for here right now, I guess. We can have that one there for the moment. And we'll see where we want our stream layout to be after we get going here. So, Dark Horse, you recommended Australia. We can take a look at that for sure and see where that ends up going. Any island nation would be neat. Hawaii, New Zealand, etc. Yeah, I think any of those would be cool. Hawaii is, I believe, at this point technically part of the US, of course, but Australia is going to be an interesting route, potentially New Zealand as well. The question is, where do we go from it? Because these are democratic nations, and we're kind of reliant on Germany and Japan to actually do things. So that is definitely a thing. I'm going to turn off historical AI focuses. I will likely not have historical AI focuses on in the actual series, and that does add in a little bit of a randomization for sure. But we'll turn that off, and let's take a look at what we've got in Australia. Or the Netherlands. I mean, my concern about that is getting immediately run over by Germany. It's, I'm sure, possible not to do, but this isn't my most experienced Paradox game. So, Netherlands is maybe a little bit spooky for me. A little bit spooky. We can maybe give it a go a little bit later here, but I'm probably going to end up not doing that. Okay, so for now, let's take a look at what we've got for our Australia focus tree. We can support the policy of appeasement or never another Gallipoli. In retrospect, appeasement was not great. What does this actually give us? This gives us autonomy. So we start out as a dominion then? Yes. Cool. Good to know. So we start out as a dominion of the UK. I'm assuming that's of the UK. It is a dominion. This doesn't actually say, but it must be the UK, right? That must be it. So we're probably going to say never another Gallipoli. So that allows us to decline the call to war. Yeah, it's definitely Britain. Okay. And that also gives us some 200.01. That's oddly specific on the number of points that we would get here. Very oddly specific. But sure, we'll go for that for now. Indonesia, Philippines, Iceland. Philippines starts out as a dominion of the US, so that's going to be in a very similar, and I think they still do anyway. Did they change that? No, they're a puppet of the US. Okay. So Philippines is going to be fairly similar to Australia, a little closer to Japan, but fairly similar. Of course, being an island nation does mean that I'll have to actually build a navy, which is awkward. I don't know about that. We have unassigned divisions right now, and do we just have the 5 divisions? No, this is more than 5 divisions. Okay, some of those were just hidden. That one was a 3. Got it. Okay, so we're just going to put that into a single army for right now. We have research slots available. I usually like to prioritize getting production efficiency and construction speeds right away, as well as getting our hands on research speed. Especially if we're going to start off as a democracy. That's, in my opinion, very important. So I think we're going to start with construction 1. And also we're going to start with electronic mechanical engineering. At least for now. And we're mostly just trying to figure out problems that we're going to need solutions for in the actual game. That's most of my goal of what we're looking for here. When does By Blood Alone come out? It is unannounced. Later this year, they're saying. I'm going to start the series tomorrow, and we're just not going to have By Blood Alone, and we'll do a new series when By Blood Alone comes out, because it's going to be longer than I thought it was going to be on some further research. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. In before they announce the release date tomorrow. I don't have any insider information on this, so nothing to be known there. We have free civilian factories, and we definitely want to build things. So first thing that we want to do, I haven't really played extensively with the railways, right? We did that stream experimenting with them. Yeah, there should be lots and lots of time. And I want to change this back to the way it was. There we go. That's slightly better. Cool. So the question then becomes, how much do we actually want to build railways at this point? And I think the answer to that is we kind of don't. This is our rail network to begin with. It's not awful. It's not great. But it's not awful. And supply hubs, yeah. All of this stuff. I'm not too concerned about this right now. Right now, I want to spam out the civilian factories. So we're going to just build as much as possible there. And we can build some up over this way as well. Cool. And then we're going to want infrastructure as well. Infrastructure is a little bit lower on the priority for me right now because I want to build faster early on. And we'll do that. There we go. And, oh, we have territory out over here? No, Great Britain has territory out over here. Wait, we can build infrastructure in New Zealand? That's interesting. Fascinating. That's a really good change. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, we can build infrastructure in locations that our overlord or their dominions control. Can we build other things? Not factories. That makes sense. We can see their supplies. And we cannot build a railway, I don't think. Has to start on a supply node, right? No, we can build a railway as well. So that will make things a lot easier going forward. That's really, really good to know. I want to make sure that we're not actually building those. I was just testing it. Okay, so that's all good. We've got our territories down over here that we are working on. So that should be fine. We have free military factories, and for right now, I'm probably not going to go all the way to the start of the war. I am going to bump it up to speed 5, but let's go ahead and make, like, some civilian trains. We don't really have any tank chassis that we can build. Yeah, we lack main armaments for our tank chassis at the moment. We can start getting out some, like, interwar fighters if we wanted to, and then do something kind of like this. We would like to have some support equipment being put together, and we would also, I think I'm going to, this is okay for now. I think I'm also going to want to put in at least some towed artillery, but these are not going to be being made just yet. That's fine. As far as Navy goes, we are definitely going to want to build some convoy. And I think for now, we'll just go for a 1936 cruiser. That'll do. All that juicy rubber and oil just north. Yeah, But that's very Dutch up there. And we can't really fight the Dutch right now. I mean, we literally can't. We can't declare wars as a subject. So we're going to have to break free of this dominion first, if we're going to expand. Okay, so we're ticking forward a bit here. We have no divisions in basic training. We should probably train an infantry division. We can't train an armored division, can we? We have some interwar light tank chassis. Huh. I don't think we can get away with that, though, because we can't produce any. So we're probably not going to bother with that. In our production here, let's see. Well, we could put in like a, I'm just completely choosing things at random right now because I want to see, I mean, this is all going to cost experience points. Fair enough. Like I said, I'm just putting in things at random at this moment. Okay. So something hypothetically kind of like this. Sure. Completely at random. But the question is, if we were to save this, would we be able to actually produce it? These designs lack main armaments, and so we would need to create a new tank design if we wanted to do that. So I think the first thing that we should do is we should get these guys and tell them to drill. That will get us some army experience, and then we're going to be able to make a tank design, a real tank design, eventually. So we'll tick on forward here for a bit, and we're just cruising on speed 5. I'm just trying to identify issues, and one of our current primary issues is that we kind of can't do anything as Australia to start with. So that's an issue, for sure. I mean, Never Another Gallipoli will definitely help us with that. And then we can go into, like, protect the homeland and such. And then we can start working down, like... I mean, some of this would be awfully nice. That's railways. Civilian factories. There's some really good stuff in here. And we might want to grab that fairly early on. That's definitely something we can do. I like how this one is just named Woo USA. I know they're meaning woo as in like sway, but I just assume that it's just like celebratory. Fantastic. So we can sever the ties with the UK over here. Oh, that's interesting. So we can Never Another Gallipoli here. And then into protect the homeland, probably? Yeah, that would, I think, be the best way to do it. Well, if we were attempting to go into the... if we were attempting to go into, like... Topple government war goal against Japan. Preemptive intervention. That's interesting. Okay. So that's just free opinion of the U.S. So, hypothetical. Never Another Gallipoli, protect the homeland, sever ties with the U.K., woo USA... Australia offers protection for our colonies. I wonder what that event actually does. That would be interesting to know. And then we would move our way down into fighting Japan. That's an interesting route. I would want to have this done first, ideally. Or at least substantial portions of it for our economy. But that is definitely an interesting path to take. Germany has decided to fall into a civil war. Well, that was fast. They lasted 2 months. Okay. Australia seeks distance from the Commonwealth, yes. And at this point, I definitely think that we should start heading down that tree. We're definitely not ready to fight Japan yet. That's for sure. Of course, we don't really have a way to fight Japan at this point, but okay, so we have the German military junta and the German Reich. And Turkey has remilitarized the Turkish Straits. Okay. This is going to get spicy. Well, we'll see what ends up happening here. Interesting. For now, it doesn't really matter that much to us, of course. Not that much. Our manpower is very low. Okay. Ethiopia has capitulated. No shocker there. And we are going to go, for now, into mechanical computing. Although radio is good later, I want to have that research speed. So that'll be fine. Okay. We can modify our officer corps. And that would be okay to do. This causes what? Political power? Yeah, this costs political power and command power. It allocates 20 command power. Okay. So, I mean, overall, that is something that is good to do. Our current land doctrine is trench warfare, which is not necessarily ideal. We're not selecting any tactics right now either. So, our chief of army here... Honestly, army organization is probably good here. Division attack. Yeah, I think that division organization is what we go for. So that'll do for now. We should probably swap off of trench warfare eventually. What do we need for that? Experience. Got it. Okay. Do we have a navy? Yes. Yes, we do. And I want them, for now, to just go do naval exercises. Cool. So we are dropping in oil. That's good to know. What do we have right now for supplies? That is something I should look at. So we've got a little bit of steel and... What is this? Chromium. Yeah, that's right. Chromium down over here. We've got a pretty decent amount of tungsten. A decent base steel levels, all things considered. Up over here, a whole lot of nothing. Okay. And yeah, there's all that juicy rubber and oil. That would be really, really good for us. So, offering protection of the Dutch colonies over here, I wonder what that actually gains us. That's something that I'm definitely interested in finding out. So let's tick on forward here. And eventually we're probably going to need to trade for some oil. We're negative on aluminum and rubber currently. Okay. We can always stop our navy from exercising. I'm not actually that concerned about oil. In fact, for the time being, let's tell them stop exercising, and we're just going to let our fuel reserves fill up a little bit. Okay. The Second London Naval Treaty. Sounds good. How's Germany doing? Who's leading each side? Okay, so Adolf Hitler is the leader of the German Reich, which is these guys over here. The German military junta is August von Mackensen. Okay, and who is actually winning this? That's the question. I have not seen this happening before. So I don't know who usually wins it, but in this case, it kind of looks like the junta is winning, which would not necessarily be amazing for us. That said, we have the way to get into war with Japan. So that's a thing. I'm going to grab standard gauge railway right now, but I don't think that's tremendously great. In an actual game, I might consider skipping it for the moment. Yugoslavia has recognized the Soviet Union, and the US Congress has passed the Neutrality Act. Okay. So the US is going isolationist. Sounds good. So this is definitely going to be weird. We can put in an industrial concern. Electronics research speed. This is better, but we don't have the political power right now. So that's interesting. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a pretty peaceful start up until we go to war with Japan, right? We'll keep going for a while here until we identify a few more potential issues. But there are some interesting routes we can take with this focus tree. That's for sure. It sure looks to me like the junta is winning. Although we have very little intel over here right now. We can definitely put in another officer if we wanted to. For now, I'm not that concerned about it. I mean, we could put in... That's just a ton of experience per day. We're not planning to fight for a while. And swapping them is just the same cost. So I think for now we put in this guy specifically for the experience gain. Construction 1 finishes, and that means that we can come on in here and we could work on like basic machine tools, or we could get some resource gain efficiency. I don't feel like either of those are that useful. I think construction 2 is a little bit better for us because we have a lot of construction to do. No doubt about that one. So we'll get that going. It's not too bad. Even though we are ahead of time, it's not going to be too bad because we have the boost. So that'll be fine. Germany, what are you doing? So now knowing what I know about the way that this focus tree is laid out, I probably wouldn't start with Never Another Gallipoli. I would probably start going down the economy tree and then pivot to Never Another Gallipoli and to protect the homeland, sever ties with UK, maybe protect the Dutch colonies. I do want to get to that and see what that does. That's a major question mark for me right now. And then Southwest Pacific Initiative into research cooperation, into preemptive intervention. That would be the goal. So at this point, I want to do Western Australian Government Railways, giving us some railway. Ooh, this looks really bad for the Reich. The fact that they have this giant pocket, that's grim for them. Unless they can push back out along this front because too many soldiers are tied up over here attacking Munich. That's a possibility, but I don't think it's a realistic one. Yeah, Munich actually just fell. This pocket is going away. The junta won up here, too. The junta is objectively winning at this point. Well, that's definitely interesting. We're currently at 36% war support. That's fine. We're not too concerned about that. Mechanical computing will be done in 50 days. I want to know if we get access to any of these resources up here through the focus tree. Specifically through Protect the Dutch Colonies. We'll work our way there, but it'll be a little while yet. And that's okay. I want to take this start up to around maybe like 1940 or so. I feel like that might be a little too long. I don't know. We'll feel it out. Otto has assumed the Hungarian crown. Good for Otto. And we are going to grab civilian factories. Now, was that... Okay, we can grab both of those. Just wanted to double check that wasn't a choice. Even if it was, I would still go for this because it's 2 building slots versus 1. So that would definitely be what we'd do. And then there's 4 civilian factories here. Actually, this might have been the better route, but we go both ways. I wonder if it would be a similar or better tree from the Dutch East Indies. We can take a look at that. I'm probably not going to do a full start of the Dutch East Indies, but we can take a look at their tree. Actually, we can do that literally right now. What do they have? Honestly, this looks really generic. Yeah, this looks like their focus tree is just a base focus tree. Nothing too special there. So that's a little sad. Well, the German Reich is falling. Berlin is under attack right now. Mechanical computing has finished up, and this is pretty far ahead of time at this point. We could grab radio, but I think we're going to grab basic machine tools instead. We are going to want radio eventually, but for now, I'm reasonably content with this. How much are we gaining per month here? 129 recruitable? Yikes. What is our recruitment law? Where do we see that again? Here it is. We're on volunteer only. Fair enough. We need citizen military forces as a focus to move down that. So that's over here. Okay. That's a research slot, and that's a research slot. So really, there's a lot of things that we want to do here early on. Clearing out this, or at least part of this. Let's see. We have to be at war for research collaboration. Okay, so that would probably be skipped for the moment. New Zealand can form Polynesia even as a puppet. Okay, let's take a quick look at that. Okay, so this is definitely a specialized tree. So let's see. Something about Polynesia in here. You've got defend our islands here. New Zealand steel, that's probably pretty good. Various technological improvements here. Out over this way, you've got the Ratana Alliance, the Manpower Act. That looks pretty decent. This looks like a decent tree here. You've got independent New Zealand here. Or you can go down the communism tree. Sure. Yeah, it's a somewhat decent tree. I would be a little bit concerned about, well, similar concerns as Australia, honestly. Recruitable manpower would be, I think, a lot better with that focus tree. So that might be something we explore here in a little bit. We'll see how that goes. For now, I want to continue to get these constructions built. Although, obviously, at this point, our focus tree is going to be the most impactful. Construction 2 finishes up, and German Reich was annexed. Yeah, so Germany lost. Not super shocked about that one. Now, we could definitely grab, like, synthetic oil experiments to be able to do synthetic refineries. But since we also don't have rubber, I don't know how useful that really is. Or no, synthetic refineries produce rubber, don't they? I need to double check that. Let's see here. Yes. They produce rubber. That's right. Out of all the eligible nations, Flag of New Zealand, New Zealand has by far the best hopes for forming Polynesia if playing with the Together for Victory DLC. Radio and the first tank armor research and the first tank engine research are good to have when you're thinking about better tanks than the old 1918 tank from the Great War. Yes, that's definitely true. I'm not planning on taking this particular start up until war. I'm mostly just looking for starts for the next series. But yeah, absolutely, radio is very, very good, and I had mentioned that you would want that. But for this particular start here, I'm not doing that right now. But yeah, that reinforce rate and coordination, very good. And the first tank armor research, I haven't really done too much with the new tank system, but that would be this guy over here. Enables welded armor and armor upgrade values of 5 and above. Yeah, that would be very good. We might actually want to grab that now, in theory. And the first tank engine research as well. Yeah. There goes nationalist Spain declaring war on Spain. Good for them. Engine upgrade values of 5 and above. So what is the max value then for the armor and the engine upgrades? That's something I should find out. We'll go ahead and get the basic armor protection for now. I would like to get more research slots. Like, there's a lot of different directions we can go with prioritizing this start. That's for sure. You can go into heavy research, getting a research slot pretty quickly here and here. You can go economic, getting a pretty decent number of factories, and a research slot down here if you're at war. You can go into just, like, dying against Japan instantly, if you want. Although I wouldn't recommend that right away. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting options here. Okay, so we just finished up South Australian Housing Trust. I'm going to go for this one next because Allied Works looks really good economically, giving us 4 civilian factories in total. That's a big deal. Okay, so Spain versus nationalist Spain. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be interesting for sure. But I do want to know what that event about protecting the East Indies is. So I want to go with this particular start, I want to go up until we figure that out. So until we get Protect the Dutch Colonies, which we could do fairly early if we wanted to. What is our current... Okay, we're not gaining anything here. I still find it strange that Never Another Gallipoli is plus 200.01 autonomy. I don't know where the 0.01 comes from or why it's there, but sure. It appears to be there. Okay, so the UK wants to give us guns. Cool. Not sure why they want to do that, but okay. I mean, they're fighting down in Spain. They're presumably... I think they're sending volunteers anyway. I saw some ships coming down here, but maybe they were just reinforcing Gibraltar. Hard to say. So this is definitely going to be a pretty chill start. There's more civil wars, this time in Estonia. Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting. This is very unstable. But the world tension is going down, and the German military junta, I don't know what they're working on. Do we think that they are likely to actually spark a war? I don't know. We'll see. For now, I do think that we could go for concentrated industry, and I think given that we're on an island, that's probably a decent option there. Concentrated is probably better for us than dispersed right now. So we'll go ahead and grab that, and that will allow us to get more construction done. Fantastic. Reorganize the railway system, huh? It can only be taken once, and it will disappear if you construct more than 3 additional supply hubs. We're not going to reorganize the railway system right now, but we can exploit some bauxite deposits in Tasmania eventually, once we have Excavation 3. Each tank armor research allows 4 more levels on tank armor. Each tank engine research allows about 4 more levels on tank engine. Max level for both armor and engine is eventually around plus 20. Okay, that's definitely higher than I was thinking it was. Good to know. Okay, so we are going to come on over this direction, and I want... Oh, we need the Civil Construction Corps before we can grab the Allied Works Council. Yeah, I should have noticed that. Definitely. That gives us consumer goods factory reduction and increases factory and dockyard output. It's not bad. We can't do the Advisory War Council at the beginning, though, because we need 20% world tension or to be at war. Okay, so we can't go down this route just yet. So we have to go here economically, or if we wanted to find out what's going on with the Dutch colonies, we could make our way down here. And I think we're going to do that right now. I would normally, if I was planning on taking this into like a full series, I would normally prioritize the economy first. But I want to know what happens with that, and let's make our way towards it and see what happens with that event. Because that will be a very useful thing to know. So we're protecting the homeland, which will, and Britain being able to enforce our loyalty and prevent us from going down this route is potentially awkward for us. I wonder if that requires them to essentially declare war on us or something. That would be something that would be useful to know as well. If that's something they can just unilaterally do at any time, and we just have to hope that they don't. I don't know. For the time being, I'm going to hop over here, and I would love to continue to research. I mean, radio is good. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to continue to research construction. We're way too far ahead of time for that. We could grab more production efficiency cap, though, and that's going to be pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and do that. Economy will be incredibly important from this starting position because our economy is pretty weak to begin with. Not, I think, as weak as it was starting from Brazil. And that was mostly just because of a lack of resources that Brazil has. Like, we have more resources than the Brazil start. So that would make things easier, to be sure. Just the steel alone is a lot better. So that's very, very good. We're 37% war support at the moment. Okay. So we should be finishing up Protect the Homeland soon. Fortify the homeland with coastal forts and land forts guarding likely landing sites and ports. That'll be interesting to see where those go. We're not really doing too much in terms of bulking up our military right now. And Japan has been fairly quiet too thus far. We don't know what they're working on. Okay. Austria voted against reunification. The Empire's fall was permanent then. Okay, so no Austria-Hungary. The Hindenburg, okay, sure. That's unsurprising. And at this point, we would sever ties with the UK. Done. Because I want to know exactly what we offer to protect these ends up meaning. Do the Dutch East Indies fundamentally become the Australian East Indies, or are we just responsible for protecting them? I don't know. We'll find out. So that's definitely good to know. And I do want to take a look in at our tanks here. So currently we max out our armor at 9. And our engines at 4. So that one actually got us 5 levels there. Each level grants... Okay, the UK is canceling their Lend-Lease. Maybe because we're severing ties with them. I don't know. Maybe. So, each level grants 1.2 breakthrough, reduces our max speed, increases our armor, and decreases our reliability. So that's a lot of armor, right? So this is putting us at max armor at 52.9. And then if we're here, max speed plus 10%, max speed minus 5%. So this is still faster than a base tank. Okay. That reliability is a bit concerning, but it seems okay. Obviously, we're not actually going to make that. I'm just experimenting with the numbers there. Okay, so I don't think that the Civil War is going to go very well for Vapsid Estonia, but we'll see. Improved machine tools finishes up, and that, of course, means that we want to go into... We still want to go into computing machine, but I don't think it's a good idea right now. We can go ahead and grab radio. It's not super cheap, but we can get that done. Concentrated Industry 1 is going to be done in 5 days. And how are we doing on our economic construction? We now have 5 civilian factories building. Okay. So I do want to queue up more in locations where we can. We can only queue up a couple, but that's fine. Not super surprising. Okay. I want to have that be the top priority one. There we go. We'll get those converted over eventually, and yeah, we do need to deploy this infantry division. We can deploy this just like in our capital for now. That'll be fine. And we'll deploy it. Okay. That'll get assigned into this army for now. And we'll just drill. Oh, we have another research slot available. I missed that somehow. Hey, Amelia Earhart made it. That's a little unusual, but sure, we could go for another concentrated industry. The question is, does excavation really help us that much at this exact moment? And I think the answer to that is not so much. So I'm leaning towards concentrated industry. We're not too concerned about converting at this moment either. Of course, we could start working on some of our weapons if we were expecting to fight soon, but I'm not. We could grab basic engines to stockpile tanks, which wouldn't necessarily be the worst idea. And that's not ahead of time either. Enables upgrade values of 10 and above. Okay. And then this down here is 18 and above. Sure. So, I mean, this is pretty quick. Let's go ahead and get that done. Stockpiling tanks is not a bad idea. So we'll get that underway. That will be fine. That said, we're probably not going to make it to a war. Especially not with the German Empire over here. Okay, so we severed ties with Britain. There's Japan declaring on China, so that will help the world tension. Freedom. Okay. So at this point, we want to protect the Dutch colonies, but we can't do that until the Netherlands have capitulated. Okay. The SWPA menace would make Japan upset at us. We're not going to do that yet, I don't think. I think we're going to come over here and start working on our economy again, since we have to wait for the Netherlands to capitulate. Japan declared on Shaanxi. The Marco Polo Bridge incident has happened. All very standard stuff. So up to 23% world tension now. I would like to see the Netherlands capitulate, but it's going to be a bit yet. Like, the Spanish Civil War is still happening here. And actually, Spain looks like they're winning, which is unusual. Okay. Well, if they're going to do that, that's fine. In our decisions here, we need to have an extraction level of 3 to get ourselves +8 aluminum in Tasmania. An anarchist uprising in the Spanish Civil War. Okay, that might make things a little bit more awkward. Cool. Well, we'll see what happens with that one. Honestly, currently anyway, it feels like Spain is still doing fine. China declared war on the Guangxi clique. That's interesting. Well, I hope you enjoy that one, China. Japan's going to get super strong, aren't they? Well, at least in this particular run. That's fine. So I think that I do want to grab, like, 1934 medium tanks, or maybe even just light tanks. Honestly, at this stage of the war, light tanks are probably fine. So we'll grab those. I say the war. The war hasn't really started yet. Germany is kind of chilling. But Japan is going to do stuff. Ooh, that's some storms out over here. Okay, that's fine. So Germany, what's your plan? They're not aligned at this point. They just want to rebuild the nation. Okay. We can expand the Northern Railway here. There's only so much that we can do in terms of getting down this way, right? We need all of these to be completed, so that's going to be awkward for us. That said, the world tension is high enough now that we can establish the Advisory War Council, so that'll be good. A light tank support company can add to an infantry division breakthrough stat and I can't read. And the in-practice speed stat for a decent manpower and industrial cost. You want cheap, 70+% reliability, 5.4 speed. Yeah, I figured light tanks would be the way to go at this stage. So that's why we're kind of going that route for the moment. Our manpower is definitely grim, and we probably want to stop our recruitment there. This division can head on in over here. Well, maybe we don't want to stop recruitment. I would definitely like to bump down to limited conscription. That would help us a lot on that in that regard. But for the time being, it is what it is. For that to happen, of course, we need to get down to citizen military forces. Which we can do fairly soon, now that Japan has started doing things. That's good. I actually haven't looked at these filters before. That actually sounds really good. I like the filters. Okay. There's more Spain. How many Spains are there at this point? There are currently 4 Spains. Okay. That's exciting. But I think Spain is going to end up winning against Spain, Spain, and Spain. Like, proper Spain is, I think, going to win this. But yeah, that's a little wild. The Spanish Civil War is not going according to plan. Luckily, it's not our plan. I'm going to research computing machine at this point. I want to get that research speed. Okay. American and British gunboats were attacked by Japanese aircraft. Japan is, you know, doing Japan things. Honestly, I think that Japan is going to crush China pretty well. Yeah. Like, China's in 3 wars here. Usually it's just 3 Spains. Yep, in this case it is 4. Establish an advisory war council. Yep, okay. So at this point, we could go into National Security Act. And that wouldn't be awful, because that would get us a research slot pretty quickly. I would also like to go into citizen military forces, which is necessary for the second research slot here. And this requires us to be at war, period, end of story. Okay, I think I'm going to go National Security Act here for right now. And that'll be fine. So these guys are belonging to an army with no orders assigned. Yes, we know that. Their order is practice. Sometimes it's only 2 Spains in the Spanish Civil War. Yeah, that's what I'm used to it being, honestly, because I haven't really played a lot of Hearts of Iron in quite a long time. I'm used to it being the 2 Spains, Nationalist Spain and regular Spain. But this one is 4 Spains, and it kind of looks like Spain is going to win. Spanish Directory is going to be doing things, but like this bulge is the concern for them, right? Hey, Wilhelm II returned to the German Empire. So, okay, they've got themselves a fancy new Kaiser. Cool. We have a doctrine available, and we could continue with the Grand Battle Plan doctrine. That's an option. But I think superior firepower might be the way to go for us, because, like it says, our manpower is precious, bullets are cheap. So we might want to do that, going down this route. So we've got delay, mobile defense. Yeah. Given that we're probably going to have manpower issues basically forever, I think this might be the way to go. Mass assault is definitely not the way to go for us right here. It should definitely be one of these 3. Speed and maneuver is, in my opinion, not tremendously important for us because we're going to be like island hopping with this start, right? So that basically narrows it down to firepower and grand battle plan. So this is better. Well, there's some breakthrough and soft attack there. I'm leaning towards going with superior firepower. There we go. We can always change that for the actual series, but for now, that's what I'm leaning towards. Okay. I keep hoping that the German Empire... Actually, in order to test out our focus, we may want to, like, force the German Empire to attack here. We could... I think it's tag GER. Yes. We could come in here. What are they currently working on? Okay. They like Kaiser Wilhelm. Sure. Now, I would like to come over to the Netherlands here, and I'd like them to justify on the Netherlands. But what focuses do they have in here for the German Empire? They already opposed Hitler. Fanning Prussian militarism. So they're like going into the whole World War I stuff. It looks like. Okay. I'm guessing it's AUS. It's usually... Oh, that's Austria. I wonder what Australia is. AST? Tag AST. Hey, got it. Managed to guess it. I like it. Okay, so there we go. We do want the Netherlands to capitulate. That's not really something that we can force right now. Because I want to know what exactly happens with all of this, if that happens. But now we know that that is reliant on the Netherlands actually capitulating. So that would be something that is situational, right? Either way, we probably want to woo the USA, but for now, I absolutely want a research slot. Research slots are incredibly important. Did this not go? It did go. It just didn't pop away. Okay, sounds good. So we're at 41% world tension right now, which is actually surprising to me, but I think that's because of all of the civil wars. The Estonian Civil War appears to be over. The German Civil War is, of course, over. This is still a bit of a troubling front for me, if I'm Spain. That said, once Navarra falls over here, in theory, it should go pretty well. We do have a new tech that we can get, and that would be... For now, I want to go straight into 1936 light tanks. Okay. We do also have free military factories, which means, of course, that we should add in an armored vehicle. But we need a variant of this. This is our current turret slot. Okay, I'm just checking reliability numbers here. The light fixed superstructure reduces the breakthrough, increases the defense pretty dramatically, but it also increases the reliability. Okay, I'm not too concerned about this reliability as long as we stay above that like 70% number that Wendy mentioned. I think that's probably fine. So what is the best turret here in terms of damage output? That would be the 3-man turret. The concern there would be the max speed, which drops down to 4.8, but we can see what happens there. Yeah, we lack a main armament. We're working on that. So we could do one of these. The machine guns would be better for the soft attack, I'm guessing. Anti-air gun is actually even better for soft attack, but that's mostly air attack, right? And I'm not too concerned right now about having this be like, having our tanks have anti-air on it. That might be something that's interesting to pursue a little bit later on. But for right now, I'm interested in looking at, yeah, the automatic cannon and the small cannon. So this would be the anti-armor weapon. Well, this can fire both anti-infantry and anti-caliber, but it has a small caliber, or rather anti-armor. It has a small caliber, which limits its usefulness. This one can lay down a hail of fire that is devastating to soft targets. The small caliber does limit its anti-armor performance. So we're going to be pretty limited on our hard attack. Basically any way we slice it. But looking at these numbers, it looks to me like the automatic cannon is probably the best way to go. At least for now. So our reliability and our max speed are dropping. There's no doubt about that. We can bring up our engine, which will bring down our reliability. This is our module slot here. Got it. Do any of these increase reliability? The torsion bar does. Whereas the Christie suspension gives us bonus to max speed. And this gives us breakthrough while reducing our reliability. Okay. Temporarily, we're going to think about something kind of like this. We're currently running Riveted Armor. And I think Cast Armor here is the best one. But that does increase our production cost pretty heavily. For now, Cast Armor is the better way to go. And as far as our engine goes... Okay. Reliability up. Gasoline engine is increasing our max speed. And this one gives us defense breakthrough and huge reduction to reliability. So I don't think that's ever going to be a good thing. I feel like the gasoline engine is the way to go for now. So, from here we can continue to do, like, we can put in a radio. That's probably a good idea for the defense and breakthrough. That's just kind of free. And we can only have the one of those. Okay, so special modules. Additional machine guns would be good against infantry, which we're expecting a lot of infantry around here right now. That's just a flat reliability increase. Not awful. There's also smoke launchers, which are basically... A lot of these are free stats. Sloped armor would give us a lot more armor, although at this point in the game, that's probably less good. Because it's a percent increase, not a flat increase. And we don't have that much armor on this thing as it is right now. Obviously, we don't have the military experience to save this, but that's fine. I'm just experimenting with this for right now. So sloped armor would be better later. Additional machine guns would be pretty decent right now. We can continue pumping those on. I expected it to only allow one, but we could put a heavy machine gun on there for a reliability reduction, or a small cannon in a secondary turret, if we wanted to. Reliability reduction there. Okay. I'd like to keep our reliability, well, above 70% for sure. Our speed is decent, as it is right now. Defense and breakthrough there. Smoke launchers are basically free. So we could definitely do that. And wet ammunition storage would put us to 100% reliability and is also basically free. And then, of course, we would want to crank up our engine. Ideally, engine and armor to max. We would not want our reliability to drop too far. And honestly, I feel like at this point, the Christie suspension is kind of wasted. Because that's very fast. We could go over to something like this, hypothetically. Hypothetically. Of course, we lack the military experience to actually do that. So, that's interesting for sure. For now, I'm going to put in, I think... We're lacking in support equipment and in towed artillery right now, so I'm just going to bump those up for the moment. That'll be fine. Okay, so Spain freed up its Navarran force, and if I was Spain right now, I would be having a force here that is just sufficient to hold Spanish Directory, while I finished off the, what is this called? The Regional Defense Council of Aragon. Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. And it looks like that's exactly what Spain is doing right now. Actually, they're pushing in a little bit over here, which I would be looking to avoid for now. For an infantry support recon tank, 5.4 kilometers per hour is good enough. Yeah, that's why I was saying that it seemed like overkill on the speed, because it's going to be limited by the speed of the infantry, right? So that was the overall concept there. Regional Defense Council of Aragon is done, and now all of these Spanish troops can shift over to this front line. And that's going to be not good for the Spanish Directory. I think Spain wins. Okay, so we are currently at 132 monthly growth. It's not great. It is certainly not great, but there's our directorate finishing up, and we are now able to grab, say, we could grab Civil Construction Corps to get Allied Work Councils. For a cavalry support build, 7.4 is a good speed. That makes sense, but honestly, I know cavalry is probably pretty good at this stage of the game. I just don't like cavalry in Hearts of Iron. I don't know. I feel like it's outdated. 7.6? Okay, yeah. We're not supporting cavalry right now. We do have some cavalry, but we're looking for infantry support is what we're doing. So 5.4 would be what we would want, I would think. We can actually verify that by going into our division here. Yeah, currently our infantry division is 4 kilometers per hour, so we'd be limited pretty heavily by that. But yeah, armored recon would be decent, potentially. Okay. For now, we're not too concerned about it, but we can get a naval doctrine. We're currently fleet in being, a strong fleet focused around battleships. Well, I know how that went historically. Let's see. Tying up their fleet and destroying supply lines to starve their war machine. Or a strong focus on carriers and their support. Which honestly is probably the route that I would end up going in a full game. So for now, we'll do that. Okay. And how are we doing on our construction? Well, we're working on it. We can maybe queue up additional locations. Yep, Spain managed to win their war. The Stalinist victory. Okay. So the nationalists lost, and that is fine. Okay. All looks good for the moment. So we're at 45% world tension. Italy has now generated the most. That's awkward. German Empire just, you know, doing Wilhelm things. Good for them. And we'll come on back down over this way. I do want to get ourselves a little bit more army experience. We're getting a decent amount right now. Nanjing has fallen. I do expect China in this particular scenario to completely fall pretty quickly. And that's because they have these multiple wars and are splitting their focus. And I don't think that they called together all of the Chinese... No, they didn't. They didn't call together the other Chinese nations here to join them in the fight against Japan. So China's pretty donezo, if I'm honest. There's our computing machine done, and I would definitely love to continue heading down here, but that's way ahead of time. So instead, we could go with like radio detection. I don't know that that's amazing right now. We may instead want to start going for higher level engines and armor. Like that. Now, out of curiosity, when we go into here and we look at the modern tank chassis, okay, that requires medium and heavy. Got it. I just wanted to check what weight class the MBT was considered. Good to know. Soviet Civil War. So many civil wars. The Soviet Union declared war on the Soviet Union. Okay, let me just screen cap this quick. There we go. And here, and we look at no, be quiet. That was me a little bit ago. Let's go ahead and post this here. So this happened. Putting that in Discord. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this is actually the SSSR versus the Soviet Union. And I think the Soviet Union wins that one. Like, looking at the actual land that the SSSR has, this is none of their good land. That said, they have managed to cut off this territory. If the Soviet Union has no real troops over here, they can grab this with a skeleton force, but it's going to take time for the Soviet Union to respond to this. Nationalists have seized the Polish government. That is now the Polish National Republic. Things are really off the rails here. That's for sure. And this is why we like not playing on historical AI focus. Things go weird, and I like it. So, the question then becomes... India is trying to get free. Okay. The question then becomes, when are we going to make our tank design? We now have 33 army experience, which is probably enough to actually do it. Okay, so I was going with a 3-man turret, and then this was a... I believe we went with an automatic cannon for our second weapon there. We put in a radio. We put in a smoke launcher. We put in extra ammunition storage, I believe, and additional machine guns. No. Remove that. Back. Special modules, additional machine guns. Our suspension was running a torsion bar. And then for the cast arm, the cast armor was the armor type. For our engine, we went gasoline engine. And then we bumped this up to 9 and 9. But this is a little bit more than we have in terms of army experience. We can maybe save that up. Can I just position this off the screen? No, we can't move it off the screen. That makes me sad. That makes me very, very sad. Okay. I would like to get that 39, and that'll be pretty quick, actually, I think. Looking at how quickly this is coming in. The United Kingdom has also disavowed appeasement. Okay, Winston Churchill is just like, let's not do that. Sounds good to me. So this is a lot of extra speed, and we could potentially think about, instead of running the gasoline engine, dropping down to the diesel engine. Now that would help our reliability a little bit, I think. Yeah, we were overkill on the max speed as it was, so that's fine. We don't need to prioritize any max speed here right now. And we can't go any higher than this for the moment. Okay, so this is 45 that this is currently going to cost. Sounds good. And I don't think we can get any slower, although we could just downgrade our engine and not have it be quite that high. This number keeps changing on me. Okay, 5.2? 5.2. Feels like that number was higher a moment ago, but sure. Let's see here. There's the improved light tank chassis, so we're going to use the improved light tank chassis for sure. I think we'll just wait until we have like 50 armor experience, and then we can just get that done. Let's get these civilian factories going. And let's go for like the improved engine. However, I think we're probably going to swap over to a different nation soon. The Australia start is definitely an interesting one because it gives us a nice in to attack Japan. But let's hop back from here because we are just doing start scouting. So let's hop back from here. I think I've discovered some decent drawbacks that we would need to prioritize differently, but let's head back to the main menu. Yes, unsaved progress will be lost. That's fine. That was a very Civil War-y game, and that's probably in our favor. But let's go ahead and hop back here, and let's start ourselves another one. This time going with, we were talking about maybe like New Zealand or Dutch East Indies or Philippines or basically any sort of an island nation. It seems to be what you guys are most interested in. Iceland? That would be... That's just Denmark, really. That's just Denmark. And I don't plan to play Denmark. That's one of those that is at high risk of being overrun early by the Germans. So Australia is definitely a very, very interesting option. There's no doubt about that. With tanks, keep up on tech for towed artillery and towed anti-tank. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Siam or nationalist China, perhaps? Siam could be an interesting option. It's non-aligned. Can we look at the focus tree from here? Apparently we can't look at the focus tree from out here. That's a little strange. But we could go with, like, nationalist China. That, we would have a bit of a hard time with Japan. That's to be expected. I mean, we can start that and see how it goes. I don't expect this to go super well, but then again, that's kind of the point of this sort of a stream. So finding those sorts of issues would be good. What would we want looking at this focus tree? Well, we know that Japan is very likely to attack us soon. Let's see. Army reform decisions. French Indochina? I think that's just part of France right now. Yeah, this is just part of France. So French Indochina is not currently a dominion, which is sad. Okay, so we've got a bunch of unassigned divisions here. In terms of our focus tree, though, this is what I'm most interested in looking at in the focus tree right now. Base stability. I mean, our stability starts pretty low for obvious reasons in China in this period. Foreign investors into collaboration with the Japanese could be funny, but probably not. Okay. So our research is out over this way. We can get 2 research slots quite quickly. Oh, sorry, not nationalist. I mean the Gijan one in the south. Oh, the clique down here? Yeah, that's a possibility. We can look at their focus tree. That's a very abbreviated focus tree. Basically, you can choose to cooperate with the nationalists or the communists, or to oppose all of them. And looking down through this, politically speaking, there's a little bit. Research. Why is this highlighting under research? I don't know. Oh, it's because I still have this one up. There we go. You only get 2 research slots here. Or actually, that's not even 2 research slots. You just get a technological cooperation. So you get 1 extra research slot. In terms of industry, honestly, I think Australia's a better start. This would be pretty rough, I think. Yeah, that's a pretty grim focus tree, in my opinion. So, looking at the Chinese focus tree here, we've got quite a number of options here. These are the political options. That's not hugely surprising. Research-wise, we have access to 1, 2, 3 research slots. For industry, industrial evacuations, a bunch of factories and infrastructure in here. Okay. Inflation. Is this a China-specific mechanic in Hoi? Or have I just not noticed it? I'm not sure. Ineffective bureaucracy. Yeah. Stability. There's quite a bit of stability stuff in here. That makes sense. Territorial expansion. To integrate the warlords. That might be an interesting direction to go. Okay. But I think broadly I know what the struggles that are going to be facing China are. You've got the whole Japan menace up here that wants to come in here and probably land over here as well. And then you have to deal with the warlords plus communist China. That's the overall path there. But I did want to take a look at the focus tree here. So I don't think I'm going to play this too extensively right now. Let's hop back to the menu right now. I just wanted to take a look at that focus tree for a quick moment. And then we can hop over to New Zealand and see what their start looks like. About like so. Now I expect the New Zealand start to be broadly similar to the Australian start, but I know we looked at this a little bit previously. Okay. Let's look for political. Quite a bit of political options there. That's a lot of autonomy. That's just political power plus 50, and you can create your own faction. Sure. As far as research goes, there's a lot of research speed upgrades. And a decent number of research slots as well. Okay. For economy, it's, I think, about equivalent with Australia, or close to. Maybe slightly stronger. Okay. And then, of course, there's your autonomy situation. As far as manpower goes, New Zealand does have some good manpower options here. And that's very interesting to me. Now, New Zealand's starting manpower is really, really, really bad. Like, incredibly bad. But broadly speaking, there are some interesting options here. Recruitable population plus 2% just from that. Recruitable population factor of 7%. I wonder if that just is like a multiplier. Because that's definitely not your recruitable population. Unlike this, which is another 2% and another 1%. But I think you have to choose between these. Yes, they're mutually exclusive. So, recruitable population of 2% or 2 building slots. And 1% population. And request control of the Pacific Islands. Okay, so that would be the way that you go for creating, what was it, Micronesia? I think something kind of like that. The New Zealand focus tree is definitely interesting. Okay, so independent New Zealand is down over here. Got it. British Malaya has some interesting achievements. Okay, we can take a look at what their focus tree is like anyway. Very generic. That's just a baseline focus tree. Okay. I'm not really going after achievements right now, but yeah, New Zealand forming Micronesia is potentially interesting. The other Chinas have a decision available to search for and destroy the stealth divisions. Okay. Interesting. I'm definitely leaning towards an island nation right now for the series starting up tomorrow. That's definitely what I'm leaning towards, but I'm not 100% on it yet. Very interesting. There's a lot of options, and a lot of not great options at that. But New Zealand, what is their status in terms of rail at this period? Okay. British Malaya is the metal king. Actually, let's take a look at that quick. Resource map mode. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of stuff. Mostly rubber, but a little low on the steel in comparison, and aluminum is fine, but that's a lot of tungsten. That's a whole lot of tungsten. Plus there's this up over here, which gives you the oil and rubber. You would not be short on rubber, that's for sure. So hypothetically, if we were to do that, that is a generic focus tree. But I want to hop in here real quick. Okay. So that's a generic focus tree there. Very generic. But what that does mean is that resources-wise, you're doing pretty well. And if we were to look at our decisions here, Singapore bauxite deposits, so 12 additional aluminum here. Okay. And that would also mean that going down the excavation tree is a lot more valuable if you go down here. So that would be pretty decent. There's not really a good way to get independent, but the question is, do you need to? I mean, you can just work on it being an unintegrated puppet. Like, you can work up your autonomy here, right? I believe you can go to the UK and do something here, or something like that. Yeah, increase our autonomy. British Malaya is arguably one of the most difficult nations to play as due to it having the generic focus tree, yep, and it being an integrated puppet of the United Kingdom. Yep, already noticed both of those. That makes it tough. It has two choices: to use the increase autonomy continuous focus to break free of the flag of the United Kingdom, and the second is to ignite a civil war. Yeah, that sounds about right. So that means that you're using a continuous focus, which means that you're giving up your generic focus tree. I mean, it's a generic focus tree, so there is that. Interesting options are interesting. Other potential options would be to run something along the lines of the Dutch East Indies, which we talked about previously. That's also a generic focus tree. I'm definitely leaning towards Australia. I liked that start, the feel of it. I think that was a decent start feel. You're able to get free pretty easily, and you're able to fight Japan if you choose to go that route. You could work towards independence as Malaya or roleplay as being the good little colony. Yeah, that is a potential option as well. The problem, or not really the problem there, the question there is, how does the war play out, right? Because if the UK ends up losing the war, that might end up granting you independence, in theory. Hang on, I want to take a quick look at this again. Factory limits. 7 total factories. And then when you figure in, that number will come up as you do like concentrated industry. But when you factor in your focus tree, going down the armament effort, that would get you 3 military factories. And then you would gain 4 civilian factories. Factories are going to be grim. You could theoretically go after Siam, except that you can't declare wars as a subject. So you'd have to get independence somehow if you wanted to expand. Yeah, this would normally be the kind of start that I'd be very interested in. If they had a focus tree, I think I'd be very interested in trying this start, especially if you were able to go after the Dutch East Indies and take those over using like the historical animosity there. That would be pretty neat. If you're able to do that, that would get you a pretty solid position as far as resources go. A little low on steel, perhaps, but overall not too bad. You could maybe come up here and take this. Just, like, sneak that away. That'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. But as far as realistic starts go, I'm leaning towards Australia. There's a lot of good options in that focus tree. Actually, I'm just going to do this. There we go. There's a lot of good options in this focus tree. And you have a decently evolvable economy. Decently. You can get independent fairly quickly. And if the Netherlands ceases to exist, I still want to know what offering to defend them does. So, here's what we're going to do for a bit. We're going to tag between Germany and Australia, and we're going to create that situation. So, I'm not really worried about too much other than getting down to this focus tree. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to tag GER. And I just want to make sure that the Netherlands ceases to exist. So we are going to, as our first one here, we are going to, like, remilitarize the Rhineland, I think should be our first step. Followed by, like, the Anschluss. And let's see here. Can we just straight up declare? I don't think so right now. Yeah, we have no Urkel. We could justify on them. We don't have the political power, of course. But we could remilitarize the Rhineland for right now. I'm not too concerned about anything else. I just want to see all of this. Like, I just want to see the Netherlands fall. That's all we want right now. So we're going to head on over here and get that good to go. So this is too large of an army, but we'll put Erwin Rommel in charge of that. And we'll move, like, this unit and this unit out of there. We'll put them in their own army and grab these over here. For now, we'll do something kind of like that. Okay. So we're just going to proceed here until we can attack the Netherlands and have them capitulate. But we're going to make sure that Australia is following the correct focus, is what we're going to do here. Because I want to know what that event does. Germany gains political power fast. Yes, they do. That is absolutely true. And we could start justifying here, and I will. We need 50 for that. I thought we needed 20 for some reason, but no, we need 50. We can grab technologies. I don't really care what technologies. All I want to do is have them capitulate so that we can get the correct stuff, right? So we can try that event and see what happens. Okay, so we will proceed here for a bit, and Rhineland will be done soon. The remilitarization may be reversed if you're confronted and back down. France and other nations may respond. Yeah, that's fine. They can do that. Okay. So that will finish up here in about 35 days. We have enough at this point to justify, and I'm going to start that justification. That might be a little bit faster of a way to take over the Netherlands. If so, that would be great. Because literally all we want is Netherlands to capitulate. That's the whole thing. Because I want to know what this event does. If it does what I think it does, that will be a game-defining move, right? But I need to know that it actually does that. So let's go ahead and tick forward here for a little bit longer. Another 9 days. And we'll just make sure that this happens. And yeah, this is all fine. Adolf Hitler has questioned the Dutch sovereignty. Okay. Australia seeks distance from the Commonwealth, and the Rhineland has been remilitarized. We are then going to do, like, the Anschluss. Oh, we can't do that yet. We need 500k manpower and divisions in the field. Sure. We'll do our 4-year plan for the moment. Okay, and we're not currently recruiting. We can go ahead and train, like, we don't need to train it like this. We can go ahead and train, like, a bunch of divisions of infantry. Something like this. I don't really care if it's sustainable or not. Okay. And I want to tag back to AST. Make sure that they're on the correct focus. They went for standard gauge railway. No, we are going for protect the homeland. Oh, we have to wait for that to finish? Oof. Cancel it. There we go. That's what we wanted. Cool. Okay, so we'll tag back to Germany for the moment. Okay, Ethiopia capitulated. That's unsurprising. Cool. We can assign a new trait to Erwin Rommel here, and he's currently a trickster, which makes sense. I guess we'll make him be a guerrilla fighter. Cool. There's so much depth in this game. I feel like I really barely scratched the surface as it is right now. I need to put a lot more time into this game if I want to feel like I'm actually mediocre at it. It has so much depth. But we're going to tick forward here for a little bit and see what happens when this 4-year plan finishes up. And then... when is our... Okay. Japanese Young Officer Corps, sure. When is our justification going to finish here? Still a while. About 190 days, so like 6 months. That's not too bad. And are they going to instantly join the Allies? I don't know. I believe the Allies already exist. Yes, they do. They may or may not. We cannot allow them to drift into the British sphere of influence. This is true. Okay, what is this map mode? This is terrain map mode. Okay. Let's go back to the regular map mode. Thank you very much. Okay, so I do want to see what ends up happening here. 4-year plan will be finishing up now. And we are going to select, at this point, I guess, like, autarky? That'll be fine. Let's tag back to AST and make sure that that's ready to go. They're trying to do standard gauge railway again, which makes sense. But we're going to sever ties with the UK instead and tag back to GER. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, only about 140 days to go here. So about 2 focuses is what that'll be. Thereabouts. So we'll get that done. I'm not too concerned about actually having Germany be, you know, sustainable and well run at this moment. No Step Back added a lot of historical World War II operational accuracy and therefore a lot of depth to Hearts of Iron 4. Yes, I'm definitely feeling that. There's so much more depth than there used to be. So much more. So we're going to be going after the Netherlands here pretty soon. 120 days at the absolute maximum. We have a decision that we can take. Demand increased Dutch trade with Germany. Cool. We'll go ahead and do that. But we're still going to fight them. Assuming we can. I'm pretty sure we can. The UK has 5 trade influence points. Okay, I've definitely not played with that mechanic. So that's good to know. Our MIFO bills are going to be due in 180 days. Okay. So we can cancel our MIFO bills periodically. Got it. So we have some unassigned divisions here, and we'll just assign those over here for the time being. Man, they move fast on the railway. There's Nationalist Spain declaring on Spain. I expect Nationalist Spain will win this time. But we'll see. Maybe not. For the time being, it's fine. Either way. Australia severs ties with Britain. Cool. So let's hop over here. I imagine they... oh, they haven't chosen a focus. They're now ready to protect the Dutch colonies at any time. So we actually don't need to be here anymore. So we'll tag back to Germany. And at this point, we just need to wait out this CB. Hire a chief of army for Germany if there's not already one. That is a good call. There's not already one. Probably not army drill here for right now. I think probably army offense would be for the best at this moment, considering what we have planned. So we'll get Franz Halder. Excellent. And we don't have a focus tree at the moment. So we could go... I would love to go for the Anschluss, but we don't have enough manpower deployed. We're close. We will almost have enough deployed soon. I'm going to, for the moment, just bump this up to 10 divisions. There we go. I'm not concerned about the sustainability of this for the time being. We have denounced Dutch ideals. And that will be great. Still another 65 days here. Okay. And we don't actually care about our national focus necessarily right now either. We could grab like Westwall, I suppose, or... Actually, civilian factories. We'll grab that. Chief of Army also gives good daily military experience. Yeah, I had noticed that in our Australia game. It's 0.09 daily, but some of them, if you get like a drill one, it's quite a bit higher. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's something I need to get used to, but I'm not too concerned about this being like long-term sustainable, right? So for now, I'm just trying to race through this and get the Netherlands to capitulate as quickly as possible. And hope that they don't instantly join the Allies, because that could be awkward. But I think we'll still sweep through the Netherlands pretty quickly here. That would be the hope. And that's all we care about right now. After that happens, we don't care what happens to Germany. So that's going to be done here in about 30 days. No big deal there. $25 days. Okay. Australia, I don't know what they're doing. We can actually take a look once we switch over at what the AI chose to do. And I doubt I'm going to follow what the AI did, but we can look at that as a little bit of quasi-guidance. But yeah, I want the Netherlands to fall here as quickly as possible. 10 days. 7 days. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A royal wedding in Brazil. Okay, sure. And we're going to go ahead and grab, like, more civilian factories for now. Okay, our justification has finished up, and we are going to declare this. Are we going to call our allies? I don't think there's a need. So we'll see if they join the Allies. If they do, that's going to be awkward. But we're just going to draw our offensive line as being that. And in we go, in theory. They called the Dutch East Indies, which is expected. And they capitulated. Cool. So from here, we don't care what happens to Germany. We're going to tag AUS. Okay, and let's see what... No, that's Austria. Tag AST for Australia. There we go. Have to get used to that. Okay, so from here, the question becomes, what did the AI choose to do as far as our officer corps? Nothing. In the army, or rather in the chief of command. We do have these guys up here for our... What are these slots considered here? Military High Command. Okay, so the AI did a little bit there. And in terms of the recruitment, it's not doing anything. In terms of production, it's just making rifles. And it wants to make a fuel silo. Okay. I have some issues with that, but we're going to ditch this focus. Yes, we will lose 3 days of progress. And we are going to protect the Dutch colonies. All I want to know from here is what happens when this event goes through. The national focus was canceled because it automatically went through. Oh, this is now the German East Indies. That's awkward. Okay, let's reload this from the last autosave, which was at the 1st of this month. And let's do the peace deal ourselves. Or actually, one thing that we might want to do is like tag ENG and come in here and guarantee them, which we can't do. We don't have the world tension. Okay, let's tag the Soviet Union then. There we go. And now we're going to come in here, and can we guarantee them? Let's see. I don't think so. Sad. Let's see. Would it be net? No. DUT? That wouldn't make a lot of sense. NTL? No? I don't know what the Netherlands tag is. Okay. In that case, can we just set by console the world tension? I don't think so, but like, no. No, we can't. That's a little sad. I was hoping that we'd be able to. What I want at this point is Netherlands to instantly join the Allies when we declare war on them. And how do we want to do that? That is a good question. I'm not entirely sure how we want to do that. Well, I guess what we would do instead... Oh, the AI messed this all up. Okay. Get everybody in here. I want all of you guys to be part of this army. Including the one that we lost, but I guess that's okay. And the AI definitely broke this a bit. I guess this is fine. Okay. So we'll hold here. And I think what we'll do is we'll just do the peace deal for them. Okay. So we're going to be able to declare on them in 5 days at this point. What we want is Netherlands to be capitulated. Like, we need to Anschluss. This is not necessarily the best way to do it. But we need to Anschluss. And that should give us what we need to do that. 500k manpower in divisions in the field. Oh, we only have 442k? Oh, now it worked. Okay, it just updated. So maybe we need to ticket a day here and come back in here. And this is a Netherlands focus tree. What am I doing? German focus tree, thank you. At least 500k manpower in divisions in the field. Oh, right. We have these in training. Okay, so at this point, we'll have to let them... Oh, we sent divisions to Nationalist Spain. Hilarious. At this point, we'll let them go. I guess we'll have to do this in an awkward way. Okay, so the German Reich declared war on the Netherlands, and in we go. So at this point, we want to let them capitulate. They call in Dutch East Indies. They capitulate. Now, as far as the peace deal goes, all I'm going to do is puppet the Netherlands and say that that's done. So if we do that, how does that affect the Australian tree? At this point, we bypassed this. So the Dutch East Indies are still the Dutch East Indies. So yeah, what we need then is like the traditional Netherlands joins the Allies technique. So in that case, we'll head back in here. And what is the tag for Netherlands? That would be handy to know. Let's see here. Poi for tag Netherlands. What do we got? The country tag is HOL for Holland. That makes sense. Okay, so tag HOL. That had an extraneous slash in it. Okay, can we come over here and join the Allies? No, we need world tension to be maxed. Sad. Okay. So I think what we need to do here is tag Germany. And we're going to need to, after this, get ourselves... Well, first off, I'm going to deploy all of these guys. We'll let our current focus finish up. We need to let the world tension come up so that we can guarantee the Netherlands with England. That's what we need at this point. So we currently have 442k in the field. And as soon as these guys get sufficiently trained, which is 12% only, we're going to deploy them. Okay, our justification is over. And at this point, we're kind of waiting on getting this done. One way would be to speedrun till 1940, then run the experiment on protecting Dutch colonies. Yeah, that's an option, but I think we have a better way to do it. So I want to go for Anschluss next, but we're going to grab the KDF wagon for now. And these divisions are unassigned. Okay. So that's fine for now. We'll just get another army, like, over here, and then another over here, and over here. Yeah, that whole thing. For now. And our recruitment, we are going to deploy these fairly soon. We're lacking equipment down here. Infantry and support equipment. That's unsurprising. Okay. We'll just do something kind of like that for now. And we'll get some more towed artillery. I don't expect these to actually be particularly effective right now. Dominions break with the crown. Cool. And at this point, we're at 11%. So we're just going to finish this up. Let our divisions train up. They're crappy divisions. That's fine. I'm going to instantly deploy all of these. They're crappy. That's well and truly understood. And then we're just going to put them on the Polish board. What? I put all of them... Okay. I meant to have that be a new army. Okay. Yeah, we need to delete this. And then have this be a new army. And then assign them over here. And then all of these guys, including 2 units that are already over here, that should be over here. These guys come on back over this way. There. Okay. I messed that up. That's my own fault. Okay. So we draw that there, and they can execute that as soon as they're ready. We now have sufficient troops in the field. So as soon as we finish this, then we are going to grab ourselves Anschluss. And Anschluss will give us a lot of world tension, in theory. Okay, that's a bad event there. 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, and let's grab Anschluss. Okay. So with that under control, we can then, like, demand the Sudetenland, but we require more manpower for that. That's fine. We can reassert our eastern claims, but I think overall we're just going to try to get our world tension up a bit. So let's Anschluss here, and then the Sudetenland would be good. We could also demand Slovenia. And I'm just going to add a bunch more units here. I'm going to add 20 divisions here. We're going to be lacking in infantry equipment. Estonia is having another civil war. Okay. I wonder if that's a common thing now. Maybe. That would be interesting for sure. So our recruitable growth isn't all that high. Also, I noticed you don't have your armies under a field marshal. Yeah, I don't really care that much right now. Having them under a field marshal would be the better way to handle it, but we're just trying to run this experiment for the moment. So I'm not too concerned about that right now. Okay. Manpower growth would be a bit of a problem recruiting this much, but we're only recruiting this much for the ability to demand the Sudetenland and Slovenia. So that'll be important. That gives us a bunch of claims on Danzig. Okay. So 5 days on the Anschluss. And how much world tension will that generate? Hey, 21%. Okay, so now we will tag England. And they should be able to guarantee here, I think. Yes, guarantee independence. Oh, 25% power. Or 25 world tension. Now, for the political power, I think you can just do, like, that. Yeah, you can just do that. So I would do that for this purposes, or for these purposes right now. We'll go back to Germany, and it's probably broken everything because I ticked it today. They're like an idiot, but that's okay. Yeah, it broke everything, but that's fine. I don't care about this out over here. We're just going to put all of these guys back into this army. There's 27 of them, but that's fine. And we'll assign them here and bring this on in. We don't currently have a... Oh, this is army innovations? Can we not? Thanks. Okay. And we are going to want to demand Slovenia when we can, but for now we'll reassert our eastern claims. Okay, I'm going to pull these 3 units out of here and just put them over here for the time being. Actually, I'm going to put them in here. Okay. Cool. We'll put the squeeze on them. Yugoslavia gets German pressure. Okay. I don't really care about what we've got going on over here. We just need to increase our number of troops that are no longer in training. So when are these going to finish up? It's going to be a while. Yeah, the AI absolutely does screw everything up. I didn't necessarily mean to tick it there. It just kind of happened. Pakistan declared war on India. That's spicy. India exists. Okay, cool. I was hoping that would give us more world tension, but it kind of didn't. Awkward. Anything that we can do in here? Well, we can cancel our MIFO bills. Or we could renew them. But the bills are going to come due. Issue a 6-month extension. Yeah. I'm not too concerned about any of that right now. That's fine. So we're going to have some recruitments finishing up here soon. I'm just going to deploy these guys. We are short on our Thundercross Latvia, huh? We're short on our supplies for the moment, but that's okay. Okay. So how many do we have deployed right now? 643,000. We need a little bit more. Then Pakistan will have a civil war due to their isolated territory in Bangladesh. That sounds right. If they end up winning that. Hindenburg disaster happened. Always good. And our eastern claims are going to be reasserted shortly. So we're short on equipment for all of these currently. And I'm actually going to bump this back down to 10. I feel like having it at 20 is splitting up the equipment too much. And it's probably going to actually be faster to do this. Germans everywhere apparently must be united. At this point, we could Danziger War. But we need manpower for that. Deployed manpower. Okay. Anything else we can do here that would immediately increase world tension? Wait. 25. Tag England. We guarantee here We need political power. Oh, they're not non-aligned? I wish the tooltip had mentioned that earlier. Okay, that's sad. Can only guarantee non-aligned nations. Very, very sad indeed. Well, we'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way then. That's fine. And we are going to, as our national focus for now, we're going to select... I would love to demand the Sudetenland. We just can't for the moment. We're getting close, though. Improved infantry equipment finishes. Not like that's super important right now. But sure. Spanish Civil War happening. Cool. Okay, so war with France here around Maginot would be the way that we would go. 27 is actually a good division count for a general. Your general gains faster towards the earned trait of being able to command 30 divisions without his bonuses being diluted and gains more XP. That's good to know. Okay. So we'll move like 5 units in here. I didn't mean to move several out, but sure. We'll go on in here. We're definitely short on our military factories, and we could start building more. I think there's not really a reason not to be. We have free military factories after all, and if we're going to have to go a little ways here, we may as well get some military factories going. We do have a bunch of civilian as it is, so this is fine. Okay, we'll get that started. And that should build fairly quickly, so that's fine. How are we doing on our... I really don't like wasting our focus tree like this, but how are we doing on these guys? Okay. That's 720,000 in the field. Sad. Well, we'll need a few more. Amelia Earhart didn't make it this time. Good for her. Well, that's not good for her, actually. That's pretty bad for her. So we'll demand the Sudetenland next, I think, and then demand Slovenia. That will be the plan there. Yeah, 725 and then 750. So we actually only need 5,000 more troops here. Exciting. We have free military factories, and obviously we require more infantry and support equipment. I think it's actually mostly support equipment, right? No, we actually need more infantry equipment. Okay, that's fine. We have no national focus, and since it's going to be a little bit, I'm going to, I think, go ahead and grab... We could take this extra research slot if we wanted to. Sure, we'll do that. That'll be fine. This is definitely a very scuffed start, but I'm not planning on this being, you know, any sort of a long-term thing. I literally just want to test one thing. But we need the war against the Netherlands to last longer than 70 days, is the thing. Okay. Like, after they capitulate, it has to last longer than 70 days without the Netherlands getting taken back over, which we would be able to prevent in the war, I think, if we saw them, like, re-establishing the Netherlands. But I think it would have to uncapitulate. Oh, look! 4 Spains again. Cool. Nationalist, Carlist, Regional Defense Council of Aragon, and Spain. I mean, we did check out the Australia focus for about an hour there with a start, but yeah, this is starting to become more Germany start scouting, which is awkward. Very awkward indeed. We're going to be getting out of this as soon as we can, but for the moment it'll take a bit. Electronic mechanical engineering, sure. I don't really care what we follow that up with. I'll just default to mechanical computing. That's fine. Lots of military factories being built, and that will help us recruit a little bit faster, which is always good. At this point, we have enough that once we get these supplied up, we'll be good. We're definitely a little short on supplies, but that's fine. I don't really care too much. We have outdated equipment in production as well. What are we producing? Type 24 class. This early destroyer hull. Okay. Once again, I don't really care too much about that. So for now, I think we're going to... I would love to actually do this. Can we... Yes. Fantastic. So we'll demand the Sudetenland. There we go. And we will get to researching something like Construction 1. Cool. We'll assign this over here for the time being. I don't really care too much. Bangladesh declared a war on Pakistan. Good for them. Okay. So we're working our way down here. Let's see. First Vienna Award is not super important to us right now, I don't think. I want to do like demand Sudetenland, demand Slovenia, Danziger War, and then around Maginot is the goal. That's the plan here. And for that, we're going to need 950k manpower in divisions in the field. So we need like 200k more. So we're going to need these guys to finish up their training regiments, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about this right now. I think that's okay. It'll take some time to get us there in terms of demanding the Sudetenland and such. 24 days left on that. I don't exactly know what Australia is up to right now, but we'll get there in a moment. Actually, let's go ahead and tag AST. Let's see what they're doing. Okay, they've been working on their economy. That makes sense. A little bit of military work there, too. Cool. So, this will be fine. We can modify our government. We can modify our officer corps, too. We can put in, like, division... High Phalangist Poland. Oh, okay. I was not necessarily expecting you right now. I think we're going to get in an infantry expert in our high command. That'll be fine. Cool. I'm a little sad that they're democratic and thus can't be guaranteed. Even though the meta for Germany is dispersed industry, try concentrated industry. I mean, I understand why it would be dispersed for Germany. Czechoslovakia refused to give us the Sudetenland. Well, that's rude. That's very rude. Well, I think you know what that means. Let's see, what infantry division is this? Let's just move these guys over here. And we're going to take it. How rude. So we'll declare war on these guys. Potential enemies of France. France is guaranteeing Czechoslovakia, so that's probably not necessarily the greatest of ideas. Wait, they're democratic. That must be an event? Or France is capable of guaranteeing Netherlands? France would be capable of guaranteeing Netherlands. Britain would not. Interesting. Very interesting. So we need the world tension to come back up then. Okay. So in that case, we're not going to go to war with Czechoslovakia because I want to take these guys back up over here. I kind of duplicated this order, but there we go. I want to take them back up over here because we want to go after this. This is the only thing that we really care about right now. And then we'll let the AI handle the war against France. I'm sure it's got that. Okay, so we'll position there, and we definitely want to demand Slovenia. So on that front, we'll deploy a couple of these, like so. There we go. There can also be game start guarantees. Yeah, for whatever reason, France is capable of guaranteeing Netherlands, and Great Britain isn't. If I had known that previously, because the world tension has gone down a little bit, That makes me a little sad. If I'd known that previously, we could have done it. But it is what it is. Okay. Mexican junta declared war on the Mexican Soviet Republic. What is happening over there? Catholic Mexico versus a Mexican Soviet Republic. Okay, that's spicy. Cool. So we're going to demand Slovenia. We'll see if we actually get it. That's going to be very interesting, for sure. Construction 1 just finished up. And yeah, I think that going for concentrated industry could be funny. We're going to go for Construction 2 here. And yeah, we do have that war goal there that I'm not going to take for the moment. Eventually, we would want to. But for the moment, I don't want to. I want to let the demand for Slovenia increase here. Yugoslavia. Oh, hello, Soviet Civil War. Cool. We can't spare anything for Yugoslavia. Sorry. Wow, that is a tiny, tiny, tiny civil war. Oh, there's a little bit over here, too. I didn't notice that. Sure. Well, we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be interesting. Has Japan gotten angry at China? No, they have not. Okay. Well, we'll see what they do. Okay, so we have some unassigned divisions here. That's fine. We'll just assign all of these over here for now. The AI will get that all sorted out. I'm not concerned. So we will eventually declare on these guys. Apparently we lost our war goal. I'm going to re-justify another one. That will give us 8% world tension, which means that we can tag France. And that means, in theory, that we can guarantee this. Yes. So we'll just get like 70 political power here. And do you have to re-up this? Yes. Now it's not grayed out. Okay. There we go. So France has guaranteed the Netherlands now. And hopefully they don't revoke their guarantee. Sadly, we lost our justification. But that's not super shocking. This will be done on 30 August, so we're going to progress here for the moment. Now, we might be able to get a justification through this tree here, going down into Danziger War. And we would see what Poland would choose. We would prefer that they didn't choose war right now, because I have a very specific war that I want to do. Well, we're 10% done with our second justification. That's exciting. I just want to know what this event does. Hey! We got Slovenia. Cool. So that's fantastic. And next up, we are going to Danziger War, I think, but we can't quite get there. Yeah, we don't quite have the troops for it right now. I think for now, all we're going to do is this. We have what we need. All we need is the claim here, right? So we just need a justification. This is all we need. Not enough manpower or equipment to fill our garrisons. That'll go away, I think. Insufficient resources of rubber. That's sad. Okay. How's that Spanish Civil War going? Spanish Directory is winning this one. Okay. All that's left is Spain. And that's not going to go well for Spain. Unlike last time. So that's fine. And we're just going to force the Netherlands into capitulation extremely quickly, like we have done several times here in an attempt to get this done. Man, that takes a long time. Thundercross Latvia seeks to join the Axis. Yes. Okay. We have some divisions, or a division, over here that's ready to go. That's fine. And how much do we have in the field at this point? 816, and we need, I believe, 950 to Danziger War. There we go, the Phalangist victory in the Spanish Civil War. Construction 2 finishes up, and we will next go for... If we can pop in here. We will next go for Excavation 1. That'll be fine. For the moment. Okay, I want to make sure France is still guaranteeing them. They are. Cool. Volunteer forces have returned home. Excellent. And at this point, all we need to do is declare war here. Great Britain grows weaker by the day. Canada sought immediate repatriation. Okay. We have some unassigned divisions over here, specifically 3 of them. We'll move them into this army for now. No leadership in that army, but that's fine. Who are these guys? Ah, that's these here. We'll move them into this army for now. Cool. That'll do for now. Okay. So this justification will be done when? Still about 110 days. We're now half done. Okay. If only there was a faster speed. We're going to go for Danziger War if we can. Not quite yet. So we'll go for, like, Fate of Yugoslavia. Perhaps build a front near the French border. Yeah, I'm kind of relying on the AI to do that eventually, but this army probably should end up going there. Wait, I'm confused. What just happened here? Oh, okay. We have a different theater. I'm dumb. I completely missed that the AI set up a theater up here. Sure. So I'm going to move all of these into a single unit. And we're just going to put that, like you said, on the French border. It is a good idea. But that was something I was planning to just leave to the AI once this fell. France probably wouldn't react to it super quick. So we're just going to come down here. They were all going up here, which is kind of funny. But sure. Bulgaria has approached the German Reich. Well, hi, Bulgaria. We are going to go ahead and get some research speed here. And we have this unit that we'll assign here. And I'm just going to move that into the European theater. We don't need this to have a separate theater. Okay. I just moved a couple of extra units out of here that I did not necessarily intend to move. We'll put them back. There we go. That'll do for now. And I'm going to pull a couple of infantry divisions out of here and into here. There we go. That feels much better. We're going to go ahead and deploy a few of these, and that should give us what we need for Danziger War. And I'm willing to bet it will be or war as the option. Okay. We're probably going to need a force over here then, and that'll be this army. I'm going to send them down over this way. They're not going to be manning this border for now. Instead, they're just going to come on down over here. Okay. There we go. That'll do for the moment. So we'll get that all set up. No problem. We do have an available war goal right now. How long until the Fate of Yugoslavia is done? Another 15 days. And as far as this justification goes, that's going to be another number of days. Okay. So, I mean, we have a lot of troops going on here. The AI will change that around, I'm sure, once we switch out of this, but that's fine. We're going to grab Excavation 2, although basic machine tools would probably be smart at some point. Our production efficiency is not great. Okay. We can annex all of Yugoslavia. Done. Yugoslavia has refused. Okay, I'm not shocked about that, but they did refuse. Next, we're going to Danziger War. And Poland will likely refuse that as well, is my expectation. Remember, we don't have to win this war that we're creating. All we have to do is get the Netherlands to capitulate and then have the war stall out for at least 70 days. That's all we need here. So we're going to get this justification done. 30 days on that. We also have these naval exercises going on, and we should probably stop the naval exercises because of our fuel costs. Okay. It looks so weird seeing someone playing vanilla. It seems these days everyone is playing Kaiserreich or Millennium Dawn. Yeah, I don't really play mods in Paradox games too frequently. That's not really the sort of thing that I do too much of. Hearts of Iron, at this point, I'm still getting used to the latest expansion, right? So I don't need to add mod complexity on top of that right now. So we're going to go after this pretty soon here, and that's going to be done right now, in fact. So we will go ahead and declare this. Hopefully France will join. We'll see. In we go. Send to port for repairs. I think they were already in port. I think they were automatically moved to port. Let's see here. This one is still drilling up over this way. Yeah, they're automatically heading to port. So that's fine for now. So at this point, we need the Netherlands to capitulate. France did come in, and all we're going to try to do is hold this line. And get Netherlands to capitulate. Thundercross Latvia wants to join. Okay, that's fine. We're going to push in and take Amsterdam, and then the Netherlands will capitulate. Greater Portugal declared war on Portugal. Okay, that's awkward. So we take Amsterdam here. There we go. And there we go. Netherlands has capitulated. Apparently France isn't in the war? I'm pretty sure they were. Awkward. Well, we'll puppet them. Yeah, we're fighting France. Apparently it was a separate war. That's confusing to me. I expected this to be a joint war that when they capitulated, I guess it's because they were the war leader, and now France is the war leader? Okay, I'm going to load back that autosave, which was at the 1st of this month. I want to check that. Was that 2 separate wars? Or that worked very differently than how I expected it to. That's for sure. Okay, so this is in the war, and yeah, France is just here, and they're the war leader. So why did we get a peace deal when Netherlands capitulated? I guess it's because they're not in a faction, right? I bet it's because they're not in a faction. That is very awkward indeed. So with that being the case, there's Greater Portugal declaring its war on Portugal. And France is just chilling down here. They don't really have a way to get up here other than naval. This time they didn't capitulate anywhere near as quickly. Poland refused the ultimatum, which isn't surprising. I don't think we actually have a war right now, but that's fine. Okay, so the Netherlands capitulates. Hypothetically, what happens if we just take nothing here? Yeah, we may have to go with like a historical AI focus to do this. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, Netherlands has not capitulated. Okay, that's very, very awkward for us, but we can do that. We'll definitely do a later start date, and we'll do a historical AI focus and see how that goes. So we'll do a single player new game in the 1939 start date. We'll select that scenario, select country and Australia, and historical AI focus, just to make sure it actually happens. At least for now, and happens relatively quickly. So we are going to do, yeah, happen one faction at a time. Yeah, so it was because they weren't in a faction that it wasn't working the way I was expecting it to. We're going to just grab things that are quasi, well, actually, I'm not used to starting in this time period, but we'll take basic engine for now, and we will take, in industry, looks like excavation 1 will be fine. And then we will go ahead and build up a little bit of civilian factories for the moment. Okay. And we'll just speed run from here, and we're going to go for the... We're going to get in position to do protect the Dutch colonies as soon as possible. But we're just going to speed on through. So the Japan-China War, the Sino-Japanese War, has already begun. Neutrality Act. And there's also already a decent amount of progress over here. So we're just going to go from here. And we don't have any assigned divisions. That's reasonably fine. I don't care too much about that. The German Reich is attacking Poland, and Poland joined the Allies. We were called into the German-British War, which is fairly expected. In reality, we would probably be independent by now, but that's okay. We're not going to participate in this war, to be clear. Okay, so the actual war here... Let's see, let's look at factions. Netherlands and Belgium haven't joined the Allies yet. Okay, they will. So we need the Netherlands to capitulate. Poland will fall pretty quickly here. It looks like, as of yet, the Soviet Union hasn't attacked Poland. We do expect that to happen, though. Maybe they don't get a chance. We'll see. For the time being, I'm not too concerned about getting all of this dealt with. I'm just interested in watching what's going on over here for the moment. Warsaw's about to fall.
It would have been quite possible to have arranged a peaceful and honorable settlement between Germany and Poland.
And the question is the Soviet Union going to jump in on this? And when? We'll find out. Definitely got some nonsense going on here, though. There's the fall of Warsaw. Soviet Union is beginning to move over here a little bit. I think they're just shifting around, though. Poland is now capitulated. Okay. So the Soviet Union actually didn't join. But now Germany is going to come on over here, and we are at war with Germany, technically. But Germany's going to come over here now, and they're going to start grouping up for fighting against France. Which is fine. They're beginning to attack the Maginot Line, which is not necessarily the best way to go. So there's never another Gallipoli finishing up, and we are going to protect the homeland. Cool. They're actually pushing through here a little bit. Or no, we were winning that. That's right. We were winning that. I need to keep in mind Germany is our enemy right now. Okay, the USSR has now occupied eastern Poland via an event. The Kingdom of Romania and Italy have joined. Okay. And the German Reich is justifying against us. I don't know why we're already at war, but sure, if that's what they want to do, I guess that's fine. We'll grab the Owen gun for now. I don't really care too much about that. Okay. Germany, what are you working on? That's what I want to see right there. They're working on going around the Maginot Line. Sounds good. So that's fantastic. And I want to check their focus real quick. Around Maginot. Yep. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see here. Okay. So that should finish up relatively soon here. And in theory, we'll be seeing this fall pretty soon. Now, we are still working our way down here. It'll take a little bit of time to protect the Dutch colonies, but that's okay. We're just mostly sitting out this war. I'm not too concerned about the war. Or anything else, really. Everybody wants to give us guns. Oh, okay. We'll take your guns and not use them. Cool. Pacifist Australia. Like, a pacifist play of Hearts of Iron would be, like, the worst way to go. There we go. They declared on the Netherlands. And Belgium. Cool. So at this point, in reality, we would already be working on Protect the Dutch Colonies from here. But we want to sever ties with the UK when we can. Let's see. We are about 30 days away here from protecting the homeland. Germany will win over here. That's fine. We're on historical focus, so we know how this war is going to play out, right? It plays out virtually the same way every time on historical focus. So we know how that's going to happen. Netherlands has capitulated. This is what we want. We want to be able to see what happens with this. So all we need to do now is sever ties with the UK and then protect the Dutch colonies. That is our goal. So we just need time at this point. And hope that Germany doesn't epically fail. Belgium has capitulated. I mean, realistically, this should play out exactly the same way it always does. In theory. Or very close to it. Uruguay has cancelled their Lend-Lease. Germany is taking over France. They have made their way around the Maginot Line, and they're making for Paris. France will fall soon. So that's good. That's very, very good. 5 days until Protect the Homeland is done. Okay, 2 more days. Cool. Now we just need the war to last 140 more days. It definitely will, but we'll go ahead and sever our ties with the UK. I wonder if that's going to pull us out of the war or not. That'll be an interesting thing to know, too. Will we go to peace, or will we still be considered part of the Allies? I don't know. We'll find out. Paris has fallen. The German army seems unstoppable, as usual. There's Vichy France, and Free France has fallen. Cool. So that's fairly expected. And at this point, England stands alone. But Germany can't cross this channel. Not effectively, anyway. They're going to come down here. They're going to do some stuff against Yugoslavia, Greece, continuing to work over this way in Egypt. That's all stuff that they're going to be working on for a bit. But the US will eventually join because Japan will very soon attack Pearl Harbor. In about almost 2 years, actually, is when that's going to happen. But this is fine. No real concerns here. This is all playing out, all according to history. So, Other than, you know, Australia severing ties with the UK. That didn't happen historically. But we'll hop in through here. And that will be finished up here in about 34 days. Cool. I want to check over this direction. Now, Japan went for the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. They're not a member of the Axis. So that's the thing. Since you're at war as part of a faction, there's no leaving the faction without the faction leader kicking you out. Okay, that's good to know. I figured it would probably work along those lines, but it would still be a decent thing to know as we made our plans for how we're going to navigate this tree. So this will be fine. Pretty soon, Germany is going to attack the Soviet Union, and that's not going to go too well for them ultimately. Cool. So this is all fine, but the real question is, what happens with the Dutch East Indies here? Denmark has joined the Allies. That's fine. We're going to be done severing ties in 10 days. So that'll be fine. 6 days. Denmark has capitulated. Iceland has taken control of their own foreign affairs. So Iceland now exists. Good for them. Okay, we've severed our ties with the UK. So we should still be part... We are not part of the Allies. We're still in the war as a no faction. Fascinating. So we definitely want to have that done before we get called in. That's for sure. Good to know. We're going to hop over here, though, and we are going to protect the Dutch colonies. So we did end up leaving the faction there. Fascinating. Huh. Everybody wants to lend lease. We're not fighting. You can keep your weapons. Thanks. Thanks for thinking of us, but it's not necessary. They want non-aggression pacts, too. Finland has accepted Soviet demands. So the Winter War is now over. And that's all fine. Okay. We finally find out what this event does in 15 days. Let's see. The Owen gun has been finished up. That's fine. I don't really care too much. Like, this doesn't matter. We'll grab improved computing machines, and we'll grab... Really, dispersed industry is what it started with. Okay. I definitely would have gone concentrated for Australia. But, sure. Lots of storms on the German-Russian border there, and they clear up. Cool. So, we're almost halfway done. Let's see what happens here. Capitulation down over here. Okay. Japan is winning their war against China, that's for sure. At least so far. That war is not going well. Not going well at all for China. Communist China's maybe doing okay. Maybe. But we'll see what happens up here. The United States will pretty soon get grumpy, but for now it's fine. Okay, so this is going to be done in just a few days here. Just a few days. 17, to be precise. The power of the focus tree. I now newly know that you can potentially have a focus tree way out of a faction when at war as part of a faction. Yes, absolutely. You get out of the faction, but you remain in the war. I wouldn't have guessed that, honestly. I would have guessed that you remain in the faction and exactly where you are in the war. Or that you pull out of the faction and the war simultaneously. But I think that that would be a not desired outcome by paradox. I would have expected that you remain in the faction, but you become independent. For sure. Okay. The Netherlands cedes protectorates. Australian troops stood ready to assume responsibilities for the protection of all Dutch territory in Southeast Asia as soon as Dirk Jan de Geer approved the agreement. While some local resistance was met in the transfer, fear of foreign aggression ensures that most recognize the need for Australian defense. Australia will do what she must. So the Dutch East Indies becomes our puppet. Okay. Australia watches over the Pacific. Okay, so, yep, they are our puppet. Fantastic. So that's good to know. That is really, really good to know that that's the way that that ends up working. That was the main question that I had, honestly, about the focus tree here. But learning that you can get out of the faction by severing ties, that's wacky. There's no doubt about that. We would certainly go into, like, the Southwest Pacific initiative here, but I'd probably want to woo the USA first. Realistically. Yeah, that would probably be the route that we would end up going. And then preemptive intervention here. So, how preemptive is it really at this point, though? Because this is about as early as you can possibly protect the Dutch colonies, which means that you're looking at another, like, 210 days before you can get preemptive intervention, which also means that it's going to take almost a year from here to attack Japan. That is a little bit before the Pearl Harbor attack, for sure. That oil-rich puppet can eventually be integrated, if you wish, for the oil. Yeah, so the way that you do that, it's not popping up here. I forget where exactly you see it. But we need to reduce their autonomy via this or some... Well, we need to reduce their autonomy via this button, but we need to reduce their points before we can do that. I've forgotten how exactly all of that works, but I would figure that out in an actual game relatively quickly. So the Dutch East Indies here, I think you can go into Manage Subjects. Yes, that's where it is. Okay, so active attaches, Overlord Lend-Leasing to Subject. Subject Lend-Leasing to Overlord is bad. Autonomy effect from Master Building, and Subject Contributed War Score is bad, and Subject Exporting to Overlord, I believe, is bad as well for their autonomy. So yeah, we would want to, like, send in attaché and reduce them and get them to an integrated puppet and then to annexed would be the idea. But this would be something that would be happening mid-war. Any way we slice it. But that's definitely an interesting path. We do that, and then we go into Japan interventionalism and, like, take over the Pacific. I think that's a very interesting start to go for. Trying to turn Australia into, like, a naval superpower, especially with my blind spot when it comes to navies. Like, that's a thing that I'm not very good at and that I should probably work on. That blind spot is a bit of an issue, to be sure. Well, I think we've come to some conclusions here, for sure. I realized that quite early on, I realized that we probably weren't going to spend the whole streaming block on this, but I'm reasonably okay with ending it here. I feel like I've learned some very interesting things about an Australian start, and I think that we're in a position where we can potentially make some big moves from an Australian start and see about maybe taking over, like, Vichy France over here would be a good way to do it. Yeah, Lend-Lease the puppet some transports. That's what I did in the Brazilian game. I just Lend-Leased them convoys, and it's so powerful. Like, it does so much. I feel like that should maybe be nerfed, but yeah, we would definitely be able to go after, like, Vichy France here, and that would give us an in to a land fight with Japan up this way, in addition to being able to do naval combat over this way. It would be very interesting. I'm not sure exactly how things would pan out, as I usually am not. But all things considered, yeah, I'm pretty interested in that. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop here for today. I've been feeling a little bit fatigued lately, so stopping a little bit early is maybe not a terrible idea. So I think I'm going to stop here for today, and tomorrow I do have a bit of a wacky plan for the stream. It's going to be the city and city skylines that was hit by multiple multiple tsunamis. We wrap up that series today at in like 2 hours and 20 minutes. We wrap up that series, but I want to come back to it and see what it will take to get it back online, because yikes, we got hit really hard, and we did hit what I believe is like the loss condition of City Skylines, so I'm calling that the official end of the series, but I want to revisit it in the stream tomorrow and see exactly what it'll take to get that thing back online. At any rate, I'm going to stop here for today, and we will have the first episode of the Australia series for Hearts of Iron. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the Australia series. We'll have the first episode of that. Is the ocean a soup? In City Skylines, yes, the ocean is a soup. Absolutely. We will have the first episode of the Hearts of Iron series going live. Let's see, that will be tomorrow at 4 p.m., which would be UTC -5. So, yeah, that'll be exciting. That'll be going up tomorrow. For now, of course, you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.